This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Philly Sports Guys show. Today is Thursday, July 28th, and we had a couple of things happen yesterday. The Phillies played early. The Eagles were practicing early. There was a lot going on yesterday, and let's get right to it, starting with a really big win by the Phillies yesterday. They beat the Braves 7-2. I think I kind of saw this one coming. Charlie Morton, he has a good game every once in a while against the Phillies, but for the most part, the Phillies happen to have his number. And in the fifth inning, things started to blow open. Were able to score 5 runs in that fifth inning, led by Alec Bohm. Alec Bohm actually had a really good day yesterday, was able to get everything kind of running and started. It's he's likely with Harper being out. I want to say Alec has been likely the best hitter on this team, at least the most consistent hitter. He's hitting close to 300. I know his play on the field isn't always the best, but he does make up for it with the bat and literally is leading this team. I know they got him batting seventh and eighth, sometimes, or sometimes they got him up in the sixth spot, but they really should consider moving him up to the number one spot and moving Schwarber behind him. Uh, I don't know why he seems to, or Thompson likes to keep Schwarber up in the number one spot. I guess because there isn't anybody who really is a true number one. I know that they tried Veerling for a few minutes. I don't know that Veerling's it. He's just not a consistent hitter. If we're not going to have a traditional leadoff batter, why not put your most consistent player in that number one spot? And I think that that's Bohm. He's got a little bit of speed. I don't know that he's a threat to steal a lot of bases, but I feel that he is, by being the best hitter on this team, he's going to get on base and then have Schwarber behind him. Instead of Schwarber hitting the half of his home runs being solo shots, he might be able to hit some of these home runs with a man on base. Would help Schwarber get more RBIs, get the Phillies starting to move a little bit faster. I like the fact that on occasion Schwarber, first pitch of the game, knocks one out of the park, but it's better if there's somebody on base. And I think that Schwarber not being the most atypical leadoff batter is done okay. However, he doesn't walk enough this year. And because pitchers are going after him, that's why he's able to hit so many home runs, but he's also striking out a lot. And I feel that maybe moving Bohm to the number one spot, pushing Schwarber down to number two, you can have Hoskins in the number three spot and Hall in number four spot. I think that top four is doing pretty well. You could have to move Real Muto up. He's all of a sudden gone on fire. He's been hitting like 320 over the last 22 games. So he's definitely gotten his bat hot. Castellanos, obviously, every time he goes up to bat right now is just he's getting the boo birds. The boo birds have been out in force. I'm sure he's going to be happy to get away from Philadelphia for a moment so that he doesn't hear those boos as loudly. I kind of think that he will hear some of them out on the road because, again, Philly faithful like to travel. And because we're going to Pittsburgh for a 4-game series, I know of a ton of people that are going to be out there for this series. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it, but I feel that there's going to still be those boos are going to follow him a little bit, but it's going to be a lot softer being away instead of a stadium full of them. He's just not having a really good time at the plate, and it's going to take a good road trip, I think, maybe to get him started. Can't guarantee that this is going to be that road trip. We are playing the Pirates. It is a 4-game series. It wouldn't be anything for him to be able to all of a sudden get his bat and figure out exactly where it's at and what he's going to be doing with it from here on out. And it could possibly start to spark something because we are changing the calendar. We're going from July to August. Like I said, I don't really care. I'm not going to necessarily boo him. I got his back up until September. In September is when I want him to start to get hot. So he is a career like 265, 270, and he's hitting about 235, 240 right now. So my thoughts is if he was to start to catch back up on that at the very end of the season, it's going to be the perfect time for us to be able for him to get hot and could actually start to change the boo people to cheers because all Philadelphia fans have short memories. They know he's not trying to go out there and strike out and such. So we want him to do well. And if he starts doing well at the right time, they're not going to care what he did in the beginning of the season. It's all going to matter what happens in the end of the season. And I feel that this week is going to be a very telling week. Obviously, the trade deadline is on Tuesday, and I feel like Dombrowski is going to make some moves. I've been listening to some of the sports talk radio in Philadelphia. I know that the Phillies are going to get a little more aggressive than they have in previous years, that they are close enough to the wild card spot. I feel that with a good third starter, maybe a closer, God forbid we actually have a real closer, uh, we could really start to make a full run at doing some damage in the playoffs because we absolutely have the bats and Harper coming back, him getting back in the swing of things. Segura coming back. Segura actually, I believe, went 6 innings or 7 innings yesterday up in Lehigh. So it's going to be very soon that he comes back. Harper's about 3 weeks out before he comes back. He had a little minor setback, but was ahead of schedule. So with all of these things happening and maybe possibly a new bat coming in or some new defense that comes in here because we want to shore up the defense a little bit. I feel like our outfield is still a little weak and that we need somebody who can cover a lot of ground because I feel that Castellanos is playing a little bit out of place. That Schwarber is absolutely playing a little bit out of place. And if you had somebody who could shorten their fields for them and cover a little bit more at center field, that we would be able to really solidify that portion of the defense and going forward. Jamie, you are so wrong. You are so wrong. And I'll take whatever money you want to lose on the fact that the Phillies make the playoffs. I tell you that. First off, I think St. Louis is either not going to make it or the Mets are going to fall off tremendously and not make it. So whatever money you want to lose on that, I'll take that bet. Thank you very much. Phillies definitely make the playoffs this year. Now, whether they win a series or not is a different situation. I feel that in a 3-game series, having Wheeler and Nola pitching, probably. Yeah, I think that they could possibly win that series. In a 7-game series against the Dodgers, against the Dodgers, I feel like that we would actually come to play. We like, for some reason, hitting in Dodger Stadium, so the Phillies could absolutely go out there and do some damage to them. However, I don't know how they would do against some of these other teams. I feel that we play up, but if we were to play the Mets, I think that we would really have a hard time. If we in a 7-game series against the Braves, it's going to depend on how things go and how things line up in terms of the pitching matchups. because I feel that the Phillies are strong enough to make a little bit of a run, but I just don't know that they're strong enough to go really deep into the playoffs. I think pitching will eventually catch up to them, but the Phillies are definitely going to make the playoffs. And whoever wants to go ahead and take some action, let me know. I'm ready to take it. So, a couple of the lines from yesterday. Kyle Gibson, 6 innings pitched. Only gives up 4 hits, 2 runs. Both of them were earned, 4 Ks, 2 walks. Charlie Morton with the loss, 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 runs, only 4 of them earned, and he had 5 strikeouts. Like I said, I thought that they were going to go down pretty good, and they did. Real Muto went 2 for 4, 2 RBIs. Derek Hall, Derek Hall, also 2 for 4. Alec Boehm 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored and 2 RBIs. Odubel Herrera also had went 1 for 3 with a run scored, an RBI, and 2 stolen bases. I tell you, everybody was stealing on Charlie yesterday. Charlie Morton. I guess he was starting to do something where they were able to get those tells because they did. I mean, Rhys Hoskins. I'd say I think I could beat Rhys Hoskins in a race, and he stole a base. It was on a double steal with Odubel Herrera, and he wound up getting a stolen base. So something was going on yesterday with Charlie. Guess doing something with his pitches because Real Muto also should have gotten a stolen base, and I think that there wound up being a foul ball. That's what kind of he had to go back, and then he wasn't able to steal again. Because they were keeping him a little bit closer at first. But ultimately, he must have been telling something because they were stealing bases. And when Rhys Hoskins steals a base, like I said, as slow as he is, somebody could hit a really long double and he still couldn't score from first. So that's how slow Rhys is. Gets a stolen base yesterday, and Odubel Herrera with 2 stolen bases as well. So they did a great job coming in. Everybody, no home runs yesterday. That was kind of interesting. That it was all doubles, no home runs at all. You had Alec Boehm with a double, Castellanos also with a double. Like I said, I think he's starting to hear those boos a little bit too much. So it's going to be good for him to get out of town for a little while and go to Pittsburgh. Today, we have Zach Wheeler, who is 8-5 out of 106 innings pitched. 2.78 ERA and 114 strikeouts. Going up against Zach Thompson, he's 3-7, only 75 innings pitched, 4.64 ERA with 51 strikeouts. Has a little bit of a command problem. He's got 32 walks. Throughout the season. The Pirates are 40-58. They are 4th in the NL Central, and right now we are 51-47. Like I said, coming off of this win with the 2 games, 2 out of 3 from the Braves. First game was the most important game, and then, of course, we took it yesterday. The Braves have a hard time getting away. When they go away, they have to win those first 2 games because usually the getaway game for the Braves is a loss for them. I think they haven't won the last game of a series in really, I think maybe a month or so. At least that's what I was getting told from some Braves fans. Even Braves fans were like, yeah, we don't do well in the getaway games. So maybe that's part of their issue. Yeah, I think it just probably deals with more pitching matchups than anything else. And they're just running into a little bit of an issue where, the 4th or the 5th starter is going up against in these getaway games. And eventually that's going to change a little bit where you're going to have an ace going up a little bit more frequently, probably towards the end of the season on these getaway games, because you can't let these games go because obviously the Mets wind up taking 2 games from the Yankees, and they're not stopping. I thought, like I said, it's not August yet, so the swoon hasn't really begun. They are about to get DeGrom back. He pitched 4 innings yesterday up in AAA for where they are, and Scherzer has been lights out. Scherzer, again, had a great outing yesterday against the Yankees. So, what did he do against the Yankees? Just so that I can kind of put that out there because I was watching that game a little bit, but actually he didn't get the win. But where's the stats? There we go. Scherzer wound up 7-inning pitch, gives up 5 hits and 6 Ks, 2 walks. He's 6-2 with a 2.09 ERA. Obviously, he hasn't pitched a lot. Guys are only hitting 201 against him. So he's pitching like Scherzer can pitch. And he normally pitches about 100 and 110 pitches a game. He only went 99 pitches this game specifically, got through the 7th inning, and then they wound up going ahead and finishing it out. Lugo winds up with the win for the Mets. But like I said, they are still in first place right now. The Mets have, I think now, a 4-game lead on the Braves. And like I said, in August is where I think the swoon's going to start, especially with DeGrom coming back. I know that DeGrom's a fantastic pitcher. He's probably been arguably the best pitcher in the National League for the last 3 years combined. However, like for instance, the Phillies love to beat him. He pitches really well. They can't hit him. They get to the bullpen though, and then all of a sudden the Phillies start scoring runs. And they usually, I would say that the Mets 3 out of 5 times, maybe even 4 out of 5 times, when they play against the Phillies and they use DeGrom as their pitcher, the Phillies win that game. So it'll be interesting to see how August really turns out for the Mets, if they're going to be able to stay this strong moving forward. That being said, before we get to some Eagles stuff, I just want to have to go through some commercial messages. So we'll be back in just over a minute.
The Hometown Foundation is excited to bring back the Dream Ride experience, August 26th to the 28th at Connecticut's Farmington Polo Club. Join us in celebrating the accomplishments of our Dream Riders while enjoying live music, a car and motorcycle show, family fun zone, pet adoptions, canine demonstrations, the Fireman's Chili Cook-Off, and much, much more. Get your tickets today.
You can see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face. Oh, I'm from Brooklyn. Hey, get any.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Wait, no, you gotta get me at the random. I'm not prepared.
What a wonderful world. What a wonderful.
Wow.
What's up, everybody? It's the Philly Sports Guy here with Philly Sports Trips. And, we're going to Houston this year. And I got a couple Houston fans right here just to say, and I want to know, are you guys ready for the Bird Gang to go to Houston? So what are we going to do when we get to Houston? We're going to melt the humidity. The Eagles will just be picking the carcasses off the Texans. Well, listen, we'll see you this NFL season. Go Birds!
And we are back. I love showing those commercials for Philly Sports Trips. PhillySportsTrips.com. If you want to go to any game or a tailgate, if you want to tailgate before any home game, we're doing the tailgates. We got our spots at the Gatehouse in the Navy Yard. Only a 7-minute walk to get to the stadium right from there. We may even have some shuttles going back and forth. Free parking included with our tailgate. We're going to have Hollis Thomas there, Bell and the Birdman doing their podcast there. Of course, it's the Philly Sports Guy going to be there as well. We're all going to be doing those things, and it's going to be probably the best tailgate that the Eagles are going to have. For every home game, you could come there. And if you don't have a ticket to the game, you could stay at the Gatehouse and watch right from there on their big screen televisions. A lot of fun. Also, you saw us at Washington with Philly Sports Trips. Already 500 people going. Get your tickets now. We do not have an unlimited supply. We cannot bring 45,000 people with us. We can only bring a certain amount. So get your tickets now. PhillySportsTrips.com/TPSG. That stands for the Philly Sports Guy, TPSG. And go ahead and book your tickets or get your tailgate passes today. Now, let's talk some Eagles football. Yesterday, there was a lot of cars around. As I was getting to the Phillies game, there was a lot of buzz. There was a lot of interest. I saw a lot of Eagles jerseys around. Saw a lot of Eagles jerseys in Citizens Bank Park. So you could, football, the smell of football was in the air, and people are excited. And they were talking about how things were very exciting at camp yesterday. That Dave Spadaro reports. Now, I know Dave Spadaro is definitely drinking the Eagles Kool-Aid, as we all are. If we're from Philadelphia, we want our Eagles to do well. But he was saying that there was a certain electricity in the air with this team in general, with the fans that were there attending the practice, that it was very exciting going on, and that there was AJ Brown. AJ Brown seems a little larger than life, being 6'5". He's just a very big receiver. It's something that we haven't seen since Terrell Owens, and it's going to be ever. It's going to be one of these seasons where it's just going to be a tremendous amount of excitement, and there's going to be a lot of skepticism initially. I think this is a big deal for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is going to have really big shoes to fill, and it's going to be important that he does this and gets out of the box quickly. It's good that we start up against Detroit. I think that Detroit has still got a ways to go yet before they can really start to make a splash. I know that Detroit's gotten a tremendous amount better, that their coaching staff has done a really good job. I mean, they got Deuce Staley up there, who is definitely a really big hype guy. I know that the coach over there is really in tune with his team. But I feel that they're still a little bit of ways in that the Eagles should go in there and be able to take care of business. And if they don't, they're going to, they can't get themselves into that 0-1 hole. They have to go up there and beat the teams that we're expecting. As we said yesterday, that there is only 3 games that they are underdogs in, 3 games that there's a pick 'em. That means that there is a bunch of games that they got to be able to win, because they are expected to win. They have the better team. The defense has gotten a little bit more solid. The offensive line is intact, and they're ready to go forward with this. I know they bring in Sayamalu back. I know that they're trying to get him back into the fold here. If Sayamalu is our weak link in the offensive line, I feel that offensive line is going to be probably one of the best in the NFL. They got it listed as 4th best right now. However, I think that they should be able. Like I said, they have 6 or 7 guys that are going to be really go in and out of that line. Like I said, Dickinson is going to be a second year in. They got another center who they should be able to move to guard a little bit. So there's going to be some guys. They still have Dillard on this team, who's going to be a great backup, if just in case Lane or and Jordan Mailata winds up getting hurt. So there's a lot to do with that offensive line. And then of course we got the big man Davis on the defensive line. Put him up next to Cox, and I think it's possible. Cox is talking about trying to get back to the Pro Bowl again this year. When he's got somebody right next to him with 300, 300. If you saw him, he's just a monster. He's just a monster. And we've, N'Kobe Dean. N'Kobe Dean is, they don't have him starting from week one. They think that that he may not actually gain a starting position on the middle linebacker until about week 5 or 6. I don't know. I think that when you have a talent like that and a leader, he was the natural leader of the Georgia defense. You want him on the field as quickly as possible, and hopefully he gets to earn that position. We're going to find out here very quickly over the next couple of weeks as the Eagles are really shucking and jiving and getting through these practices. A couple of highlights. Obviously, AJ Brown did a couple of good things. They were saying that Quez Watkins has upped his game some, that there is going to be no doubt in their mind that he could be the number 3 receiver on this team. I don't know if he's a slot guy. I don't know that works really well for him in the slot, but he is a burner. And as long as, Jalen Hurts can get him the ball, there should be some plays where like the Deshaun Jackson type plays. He's got that type of speed. He really can. I think he can rival Tyreek Hill in terms of his speed. And I've known this from the moment that he got out on the field. Even when I was out in Pittsburgh, and the first time he ever made it out on the field, I'll never forget. He blew past the cornerback, ate a sandwich, sat there, picked his teeth after he had the sandwich, then had to run backwards for the ball because he just outran the coverage and wound up getting a pass interference. They wound up losing that game, and that was the only play they used for him in a little while. So I think that he is going to be making great strides this year, all the way around. I tell you, I agree with you, Ian. Thank you for joining the show. I wouldn't mind trying to trade Isaac Seumalo. My thought is that I wouldn't mind giving him or Dillard to Cincinnati and trying to work the trade out for the safety. I feel that might be a really good trade. And then, I'm sure we'd probably have to give up a 3rd-round pick if we're going to give an offensive lineman. If we're giving Dillard, obviously Dillard was a number 1 pick. I feel that might actually hold some weight. Dillard's actually a fairly good tackle. I just think that he's getting pigeonholed right now because obviously you have Lane Johnson, and then you have on the other side, you got Jordan Mailata, who I feel is going to be rated as one of the best offensive tackles in the league this year. And Lane Johnson has already done his thing. He's been this guy for a long time, so I kind of expect that that's going to continue moving forward. So a lot of excitement here in Eagles camp. Like I said, everybody's watching it on TV. I was going to put some clips together, but I don't need to put the clips together. You guys have already seen what they're doing. I get all the same clips from Twitter, and hearing all these things, seeing all these things. You can watch the NFL Network. They have some cameras on. They go to different camps all the time. So you're going to be able to see everything. You don't need to see the clip from me. You just know that we're excited and we're getting really ready to go here. Last minute before we go, this weekend is going to be a busy weekend. Obviously, the Phillies are in Pittsburgh. I am not in Pittsburgh, so unfortunately, I won't be able to get out there. So I apologize to all my Pittsburgh fans who'd love to see me. They always love that when I'm around because they want to yell and scream at me. I have a lot of haters, lovers in Pittsburgh. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get there. On Saturday, though, I am going to the Philadelphia Phoenix. So we will be there watching some ultimate frisbee as they go up against the Ottawa. I think they're the Outlaws, and the Philadelphia Union are playing down in Chester against the Houston. I think, again, they're called the Dynamo. So either one of those teams, definitely get out there and take a look while the major teams are away. And of course, we'll be paying attention to Eagles camp as well. So again, for everybody, thank you very much for tuning in today. And I will be back tomorrow morning bright and early, and we'll do it again. Talk to you guys later. Have a great day.